Dr. Alan Foster smoothed down his suit jacket one last time before entering the grand chamber of the Galactic Council. The room was massive, with curved walls that stretched upward for what seemed like hundreds of feet. Around a circular table sat representatives from 127 advanced alien species. Some had multiple eyes, others had skin that changed colors, and a few didn't even have physical bodies, appearing instead as dancing lights inside special containers. The air felt cold against Alan's skin as he walked forward. He was the only human in the room. The metal floor made soft clicking sounds under his shoes as he approached the speaking platform. A small blue alien with 6 arms gestured for him to stop and wait. The Council will now announce its decision regarding the classification of Species 4927, designation humans from planet Earth, announced Zexterra, the Council leader. His voice boomed through the chamber without any visible microphone. His skin was a deep purple, and the 3 ridges on his forehead pulsed with light as he spoke. Alan felt his heart beating faster. 6 months of diplomatic talks, technology exchanges, and friendship building had led to this moment. Earth had discovered faster-than-light communication just 3 years ago, making first contact with the galactic community. Since then, humans had worked tirelessly to prove themselves worthy of joining the interstellar civilization. After careful consideration of human technological development, social structures, ethical frameworks, and potential for advancement, Zexterra continued. The Council has classified humans as a Class D primitive species. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Alan felt his face grow hot with embarrassment. This classification restricts Earth from interstellar travel, advanced technology acquisition, and participation in galactic politics, Zexterra said, not even looking at Alan now. The Council has determined that humans require at least another 500 years of development before reconsideration. But, Alan began, stepping forward. The decision is final. Zexterra cut him off. You may submit a formal appeal in 50 Earth years. Thousands of miles away, in a NASA communications center in Houston, Samantha Miller stared at her monitor in shock. She had intercepted the transmission before it reached official channels. As the night shift communications specialist, she was often alone in the monitoring room, which was why she was the first human beyond the diplomatic team to hear the news. Her fingers flew across her keyboard, saving the data and immediately sending a secure message to her supervisor. Within minutes, her phone rang. "Tell me everything again," said Director Paul Williams. His voice was tense but controlled. "Sir, they've classified us as primitives. Class D. They're cutting us off from everything. Travel tech, medicine, all of it. Are you recording all incoming transmissions from the Council station?" "Yes, sir. Everything." "Good. Don't tell anyone else what you've heard. I need to make some calls." Within an hour, lights were coming on at government buildings across Washington, D.C. The president was woken up. Military leaders gathered in secure rooms, but in a small, unmarked building outside Denver, Colorado, a different kind of response was being assembled. Jack Harrison, director of the NSA, personally called 5 people that night. Each one was given the same brief message. Protocol Omega. 4 hours. Olivia Daniels was the first to arrive at the facility. Her government badge said she was a cybersecurity analyst, but 10 years ago, she had been the most wanted hacker in America. The government had given her a choice: prison or service. She chose service and never looked back. As she entered the secure room filled with advanced computers, she found Peter Wright already setting up systems. He nodded at her without speaking. As a quantum computing specialist, he rarely wasted words. Within the hour, they were joined by Lisa Chen, Kevin Martins, and Major John Baker. None of them knew exactly why they had been summoned, but they all understood it was serious. Jack Harrison walked in at exactly midnight. He looked at each of them, then turned on a screen showing the Galactic Council's announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said after the recording finished, "the aliens think we're primitive." A thin smile crossed his face. Let's show them how wrong they are. The underground facility hummed with energy as the 5 specialists gathered around a large table. Screens covered the walls, displaying alien text and strange symbols. Jack Harrison stood at the head of the table, his face serious under the bright lights. 6 hours ago, the Galactic Council labeled humanity as primitives, Harrison said. The President has authorized Operation Digital Rebellion. Our mission is simple but dangerous. We're going to hack the most advanced alien network in the galaxy. Kevin Martinez laughed nervously. So, no pressure then. I need to know if this is even possible, Harrison continued, ignoring the comment. Otherwise, we look for different options. Lisa Chen raised her hand. She had spent 3 years studying the fragments of alien language received in earlier communications. Their digital systems aren't as advanced as you might think. They've had peace for thousands of years. They never needed strong security because nobody tried to break in. Olivia nodded, her eyes lighting up. It's like finding a mansion with no locks because the neighborhood never had crime. Peter Wright was already typing on his tablet. Their quantum computing uses a base 16 system instead of our binary. Different, but not incomprehensible. He looked up. I can work with this. Major Baker, the only one in uniform, stepped forward. What's our goal here? Damage their systems, steal technology. Harrison shook his head. First, we prove we can get in. Then we gain leverage for Dr. Foster to negotiate. Beyond that, the President wants options. The team got to work immediately. Lissa translated alien code while Peter built a program to interact with their systems. Kevin examined the few images they had of alien computers, looking for weaknesses. Olivia searched for entry points, testing theories on a simulation. Major Baker organized their findings, creating a plan of attack. We need 3 things, he said, pointing to his notes. Access to their central database, control of their communication network, and a way into their defense systems. 8 hours into the operation, they had their first breakthrough. I found something, Olivia called out, her voice excited. The others gathered around her screen. Their network has inspection points for data packets, like customs agents checking passports, but they only check specific patterns. She typed rapidly, explaining as she worked. If we disguise our code as regular maintenance data, it might slip through. Lisa pointed to symbols on the screen. Those represent system health updates. They're sent automatically and rarely checked. Perfect, Olivia said, smiling. Peter joined them with his own discovery. Their quantum encryption is advanced, but they made a basic mistake. They used the same key patterns for different systems. If we crack one, we might crack them all. Harrison watched his team work through the night. Coffee cups piled up as the hours passed. Finally, as morning approached, they were ready to test their first attempt. We'll use the satellite array in Nevada, Harrison told them. It's been modified to match alien transmission frequencies. The team relocated to a control room filled with newer equipment. On the main screen, a 3D model of the Galactic Council station orbited a distant star. The Trojan is ready, Olivia said, her fingers poised over the keyboard. Once it's in, it will lie dormant until activated. They won't see it in routine scans. The translation is embedded, Lisa confirmed. It will adapt to their language patterns automatically. Quantum algorithm is set to breach their security in stages, Peter added, slow enough to avoid detection. Kevin gave a thumbs up from his station. Entry point identified through their external data collection port. Major Baker nodded to Harrison. Sir, we're ready. Harrison took a deep breath. Remember, we get one shot at this. If they detect us too early, they'll close every hole, and we'll lose our chance. He looked at each team member, then nodded. Send it. Olivia pressed the key. The screen showed a progress bar slowly filling. Transmission complete, she said after a minute. Now we wait. The Trojan horse entered the alien network silently, hiding among routine data. Like a digital ghost, it spread through their systems, establishing footholds in critical areas. The Council's advanced civilization, spanning hundreds of planets and thousands of years of development, had just been infiltrated by the species they had dismissed as primitive. And they had no idea it was happening. 12 hours had passed since the team sent their digital Trojan horse into the Galactic Council's network. The underground facility was quieter now. Some team members caught short naps on cots in the corner, while others watched their screens, waiting for signs of progress. Olivia sat with her third cup of coffee, eyes fixed on lines of code scrolling across her monitor. Suddenly, she straightened in her chair. "I'm in," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Then louder, "I'm in." The Trojan worked. The room came alive. Harrison returned from a call with the president. Peter Wright wiped sleep from his eyes and hurried to his station. Within minutes, everyone gathered around Olivia's screen. "Show me," Harrison ordered. Olivia's fingers flew across the keyboard. The program bypassed their outer security. "I now have basic access to their membership database." She pointed to alien text on the screen. "According to Lisa's translations, these are species classifications." Lisa leaned closer. "Yes, that's right. And look, the classifications are connected to everything else. Ship permissions, technology access, voting rights. It's all tied to their ranking system." "Can we change our classification?" Major Baker asked. Olivia shook her head. "Not yet. Changes need approval from multiple council members, but I can see all the data now." Peter was working at his station, analyzing the alien system structure. Their quantum computing is advanced, but their security thinking is simple. They never expected anyone to get this far. Kevin joined them with his findings. "I've mapped their network. It's massive but organized in predictable patterns. I can see paths to more sensitive systems." Harrison nodded. "Good. What about their communication systems?" "Working on it," Kevin replied. "Their communications use quantum entanglement, instant messaging across light years. If we can access that, we'll hear everything they say about us." While the team worked, in the Galactic Council chamber, Dr. Alan Foster stood before an emergency meeting. Council leader Zex Terra glared down at him. "Ambassador Foster, your species has filed 17 official protests in the last day," Zex Terra said. "This is unprecedented and disrespectful." Alan kept his face neutral. He had been instructed to keep the council distracted while the operation continued back on Earth. "My government feels the Class D rating is unfair and based on incomplete information." A blue-skinned council member hissed. "You build weapons before schools. You fight wars among yourselves. How can such a species claim to be advanced?" "We are young but learning quickly," Alan replied calmly. "We ask only for time to demonstrate our potential." As the council debated, they remained unaware of the invisible invasion happening in their systems. Back on Earth, Peter made a crucial discovery. "I found something important," he called to the team. "Their quantum security is based on principles similar to our early quantum computing experiments." "What does that mean?" Harrison asked. "It means they made the same mistakes we did 20 years ago," Peter explained. "They solved the big problems but missed a simple backdoor. It's like they built an unbreakable door but forgot about the windows." Olivia moved to Peter's station. "Show me." Together, they identified a critical oversight in the alien security protocols. The Council's systems verified data packets' origins, but not their contents if they came from trusted sources. "We can make our code look like it's coming from inside their own system," Olivia realized. The perfect disguise. They worked together, crafting a new approach. Lisa translated their commands into proper alien formats. Kevin mapped the best insertion points. Major Baker identified key systems to target first. 3 hours later, they were ready for the next phase. "This will give us access to their central archives," Olivia explained to Harrison. "All their knowledge, science, technology, history, everything they've collected from 127 species over thousands of years." Harrison looked at each team member. The president has authorized full access. We're not just proving a point anymore. We're changing humanity's future." He nodded to Olivia. "Do it." She pressed the key, launching the enhanced infiltration program. On the main screen, a progress meter slowly filled as their code silently penetrated deeper into the heart of the Galactic Council's most precious resource, their collected knowledge. The clock showed exactly 18 hours since the Council had declared humans inferior. In just 6 more hours, they would learn how wrong they had been. The digital wall between Earth and the Galactic Council's archives fell away. Olivia stared in amazement as thousands of alien files began downloading to their secure servers. The screens in the facility lit up with strange symbols, diagrams of advanced machines, and scientific formulas unlike anything humans had ever seen. "We're in their central archives," Olivia announced, her voice filled with wonder. "The download has started." The team gathered around the main display as terabytes of data streamed in. Lisa immediately began sorting through the information, her translation software struggling to keep up with the massive flow of alien text. "This is incredible," she said. "I'm seeing technological blueprints, scientific research papers, cultural histories, the combined knowledge of 127 advanced species." Peter focused on the scientific data, his eyes widening as he reviewed complex formulas. "Some of this physics is centuries beyond our current understanding. There are principles here we haven't even discovered yet." Kevin had found something else. "I've accessed their internal communication systems," he reported. "We can now monitor all transmissions between council members." Major Baker was most interested in the military applications. "There's information here about defense systems, energy weapons, and shield technology that could revolutionize our security." Harrison watched his team work, nodding with satisfaction. "Copy everything. We won't get a second chance at this." As the download continued, Lisa made a surprising discovery. "I found documents about the Council's decision to classify Earth," she called out. Her eyes narrowed as she read further. This wasn't just about our development stage. It was political. The others looked up from their work. "What do you mean?" Harrison asked. Lisa pointed to translated text on her screen. "Several influential species pushed for our isolation. They feared our rate of innovation." She scrolled through more documents. "Look at this comparison chart. Humans advance technology at 5 times the rate of most council species. They were afraid we would surpass them too quickly. So they decided to hold us back," Major Baker said, his voice hard. While sorting through the data, Kevin discovered something unusual. "There's a hidden database here," he said. "It seems to be some kind of historical record, but it's protected by additional security layers." Working together, Olivia and Peter managed to breach this final layer of security. What they found left them speechless. "This is an ancient prediction," Lisa translated slowly. "From a species that died out thousands of years ago. It says that a young species with certain characteristics would either save the galactic community or destroy it." She looked up, her face pale. "The description matches humans perfectly. They were afraid of us because of some old prophecy?" Major Baker asked. "Not just that," Lisa replied. "The prophecy has been studied and analyzed by their scientists for generations. There are thousands of research papers here. Many believe it has a scientific basis, not just a religious one." While this revelation stunned the team, Peter had continued examining the technical data. "The energy generation technology in these files is revolutionary," he said. "It could solve Earth's climate crisis within a year if we can understand it." Harrison received a secure call from the White House. When he returned, his expression was grim but determined. "The president wants us to create leverage," he told the team. "Show the council we could hurt them if we wanted to, but choose not to." Olivia thought for a moment. "I could create an algorithm that would temporarily shut down their life support systems on the station. Just for a minute, not long enough to cause harm, but enough to prove our point." "Do it," Harrison ordered. "And Kevin, contact Dr. Foster secretly. He needs to know what's happening." Kevin nodded and began establishing a secure line to the Council station where Dr. Foster waited, unaware of how drastically Earth's position was about to change. As the team prepared their demonstration, Major Baker was reviewing the military files. "With this information, we could defend Earth against any species in the galaxy," he said quietly. Harrison nodded. "Let's hope we never need to. But if the Council doesn't respect us as equals, we'll be ready." The countdown on the wall showed 22 hours since the Council's proclamation. In just 2 more hours, humans would prove just how wrong that proclamation had been. President Susan Campbell sat alone in the Oval Office, reading reports from Operation Digital Rebellion. Outside her window, the sun was rising. Most Americans were just starting their day, unaware that their place in the galaxy was about to change forever. Her secure phone rang. "Madam President, Director Harrison here. The team has created our leverage." "Explain it to me," she said. "We can temporarily control key systems on the Council station. Not enough to cause harm, but enough to get their attention. We've also written code that would reclassify Earth as a class as species in their database. We're holding it in reserve." The President considered this. "And Dr. Foster? He's been informed through secure channels. He's ready to negotiate once we demonstrate our capabilities." President Campbell had been elected on a promise of peace and diplomacy, but she also understood power. "Show them what we can do, but keep it minimal. This is about respect, not revenge." "Yes, Madam President." Back at the facility, Olivia had finished her algorithm. "It's done. This code will give us temporary control of their life support systems, just for 60 seconds, not long enough to be dangerous." Lisa was still sorting through translations. "I found something about our first contact protocols," she said, looking troubled. "There were significant translation errors when we first met the Council. What we said and what they heard were very different things." "What kind of errors?" Harrison asked. Lisa scrolled through the files. "When our representatives talked about rapid advancement, the Council interpreted it as aggressive expansion. When we mentioned defense research, they heard weapons development. These misunderstandings shaped their view of us from the beginning." Major Baker frowned. "So they've been afraid of us from day one because of bad translation?" "Essentially, yes," Lisa confirmed. Kevin had established a secure line to Dr. Foster on the Council station. The ambassador's face appeared on a small screen, looking tired but alert. "I've been informed of your activities," Foster said carefully, aware that Council monitoring might be listening. "What exactly should I prepare for?" "A demonstration," Kevin replied cryptically. "When screens change, be ready to speak. Emphasize peace, ethics, and cooperation." Foster nodded, understanding. "When?" "Exactly 24 hours after the proclamation. That's in about 90 minutes. Meanwhile, Peter had created another piece of code. "This will reclassify Earth as a Class A emerging species in their system," he explained. "It would give us full rights and access to all Council resources, but I wouldn't recommend using it unilaterally." "Why not?" Major Baker asked. "Because changing our status by force would just confirm their fears about us," Peter said. "Better to make them change it themselves." Harrison agreed. "We'll hold it as our final option." As the deadline approached, the team prepared their demonstration. Olivia positioned her algorithm to affect the Council station's systems without causing harm. Kevin set up a program to override all display screens on the station. Lisa prepared a carefully worded message in perfect Council language. On the Council station, Dr. Foster waited nervously in his small quarters. Since the proclamation, most alien representatives had avoided him. He felt like a failure. His mission to secure Earth's place among the stars had ended in humiliation. His communication device beeped. It was a message from Samantha at NASA. "Stand by. Remember, we're stronger than they think." Foster straightened his tie and prepared himself for whatever was coming. In the facility on Earth, the team gathered around the main console. Harrison looked at his watch. "It's time. Humanity has been patient for 24 hours. That's long enough." Olivia nodded. Ready on your command, sir. Harrison took a deep breath. This moment would either secure humanity's future among the stars or start an interstellar conflict. But after seeing the Council's deception and fear, he knew they had no choice. Do it, he ordered. Olivia pressed the key. Across the vast distance of space, human code slipped through alien defenses, preparing to show the Galactic Council exactly what a primitive species could do. On the Galactic Council station, every screen suddenly went dark. Council members and staff froze, looking around in confusion. Then, all at once, the screens lit up again with the same message displayed in perfect council language. Reconsideration requested. Below these words appeared evidence of the Council's secret discussions about humanity, their deliberate misinterpretations of Earth's communications, and their fear of human potential. The screen showed page after page of proof that the Class D rating had been politically motivated, not based on fair assessment. In the Grand Chamber, Council leader Zex Terra stared at the nearest screen, his purple skin paling to a lighter shade. "How is this possible?" he whispered. The lights throughout the station dimmed, then came back on with a blue and green tint, Earth's colors. Soft human music began playing through the station's communication system. Not loud or disruptive, but impossible to ignore. Alarm systems began blaring as security teams tried to regain control. Alien technicians rushed to terminals, frantically trying to override the intrusion. Nothing worked. Dr. Foster walked calmly into the council chamber. All eyes turned to him. 24 hours ago, you declared humans primitive, he said, his voice steady. It took us 1 day to access your most secure systems. Zex Terra rose from his seat, his ridge lights flashing with anger. This is an attack, an act of war. No, Foster replied. If it were an attack, your life support would be failing. Your defense systems would be disabled. Your ships would be locked in dock. He paused. We could have done all those things. We chose not to. A murmur spread through the chamber. Foster continued. What you are witnessing is a demonstration of restraint. We have discovered your technologies, your secrets, and your lies about us. Yet we cause no harm. Back on Earth, Olivia monitored the station's systems. Life support functioning normally. We have access but aren't disrupting anything critical, she reported. Kevin watched Dr. Foster through the Council's own cameras. He's doing great. They're listening. Harrison nodded. Maintain our position. Don't escalate unless they force us to. On the station, a younger council member named Frill stepped forward. Unlike most, her species had evolved on a harsh world, giving her more understanding of human development. How did they breach our security so quickly? She asked. Even our most advanced security specialists couldn't do this. The station's chief security officer, a multi-limbed being named Soth, looked embarrassed. Their approach was unexpected. They used methods we never considered. Because you never had to, Foster explained. Your society evolved without digital competition. Humans had to fight hackers and digital criminals every day. We learned security the hard way. Several younger species representatives broke from the traditional council seating arrangement, moving closer to hear Foster better. Their faces showed not fear, but curiosity and even admiration. This human speaks truth, said Frill. I have studied Earth's history. They advanced rapidly because they face constant challenges. While we cooperated, they competed. Both approaches have value. Zex Terra slammed a hand on the table. Enough. Security, remove the human and lock down all systems. But the security forces didn't move. Their commander touched his communication device. Systems are not responding to commands, council leader. Foster smiled slightly. Perhaps you should listen instead of giving orders. We have access to your communication records. We know some council members argued for treating Earth fairly. They were overruled by the old guard. By you, Zex Terra. The chamber erupted in argument. Younger species confronted older ones. Progressive members challenged conservatives. The council that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was suddenly divided. From Earth, the team watched the chaos unfold. "Did we just break the Galactic Council?" Kevin asked nervously. Lisa studied the translations of the arguments. "No," she said slowly. "I think we might be fixing it." Harrison received another call from the president. When he returned, he looked at his team with pride. "The president has authorized Dr. Foster to begin formal negotiations. Get ready for Phase 2. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. All 127 species sent representatives to the Grand Chamber. For the first time in Council history, a Class D species was invited to address the full assembly. Dr. Alan Foster stood at the center of the room, calm despite the weight of humanity's future on his shoulders. "We will hear the human plea," announced Acting Leader Vril. She had temporarily replaced Zexterra, who had withdrawn from the proceedings in protest. Foster touched the small device in his ear. Back on Earth, the team was feeding him information through this hidden communication link. Lisa analyzed council protocols and politics. Kevin monitored station systems. Olivia maintained their access to key databases. Peter stood ready with technical explanations. "Honored representatives," Foster began, "Earth seeks 3 things: reclassification as a peer species, access to interstellar travel technology, and a formal acknowledgement that our initial classification was an error." Murmurs spread through the chamber. An ancient representative from the Krell species stood up, his scaled skin reflecting the chamber's lights. "Why should we trust a species that invaded our most secure systems?" he demanded. Foster had been prepared for this question. Lisa whispered information through his earpiece. "The Krell were once classified as a lesser species too," Foster said. 3,000 years ago, you proved your worth by solving the gravity wave equations that even the high species had failed to understand. You earned your place through mental achievement." The Krell representative looked surprised. "How do you know our history?" "We accessed your historical archives," Foster admitted. "We studied all Council species to understand you better. We learned your achievements, your struggles, your fears. We did this not to harm you, but to find common ground." The Krell sat down, silent but thoughtful. Another representative, a cloud-like being from the Mist Collective, floated forward. "Your species continues to fight internal wars. How can we trust you with advanced technology?" Again, Lisa provided Foster with information. "Your own records show that the Mist Collective experienced 4 major internal conflicts before achieving unity," Foster replied. "All species grow through struggle. You judged us by our conflicts rather than our achievements in art, science, and cooperation." The chamber grew quiet as Foster addressed each concern with knowledge from the Council's own records. He revealed hidden Council policies. He cited ancient precedents. He quoted from the Council's founding principles about equality and potential. Vril watched with growing respect. "The human speaks with wisdom beyond his classification," she noted. The Council began to split openly. Progressive species argued for human reclassification. Conservative species maintained their opposition. Moderate groups proposed compromise solutions. Back on Earth, President Campbell received updates every 15 minutes. "How is it going?" she asked Harrison during their latest call. "The Council is divided," he reported. "About 40% support us, 30% oppose us, and the rest are undecided. Foster is doing an excellent job with the information we're providing." On the station, Foster played his final card. "We also discovered evidence of the ancient prediction," he said. The chamber went completely silent. This was the Council's most carefully guarded secret. "You know our history well," admitted a luminous being from an elder species. "But knowing is not understanding. The prediction says a young species will either save or destroy our galactic community. How can we be sure you are not the destroyers?" Foster smiled. "Because we had the power to harm you yesterday, and we chose not to. We had access to your defense systems, your life support, your ship controls. We used none of it." He touched a control, and screens around the chamber showed the extent of Earth's access to critical systems. The representatives gasped collectively. "We seek partnership, not dominance," Foster continued. "Earth extends a hand in friendship, not a fist in threat." Vril stepped forward. "I propose an unprecedented solution. Earth will not be classified as D, or even as A. I propose a new classification, a plus, recognizing both their technological potential and their ethical restraint." The council erupted in debate. Foster waited as the fate of humanity was discussed in hundreds of alien languages around him. After what seemed like hours, Vril called for a vote. One by one, species registered their positions. The chamber's main screen tracked the results. Foster held his breath as the final representatives cast their votes. The final votes appeared on the chamber's main screen. Dr. Foster held his breath as the numbers locked in place. 67 for, 52 against, 8 abstaining. Earth's new classification had passed by a narrow margin. The chamber filled with a mix of excited chatter and angry protests. Vril raised her hands for silence. By majority vote, Earth is now classified as a plus status, with all rights and responsibilities thereof, she announced formally. Foster felt a wave of relief wash over him. He touched his earpiece. "We did it," he whispered to the team on Earth. Back in the underground facility, cheers erupted. Harrison allowed himself a rare smile before quieting the celebration. "Good work, everyone. But we're not finished yet." The oldest member of the council, a being so ancient that his original form had evolved into pure energy contained in a special vessel, moved to the center of the chamber. This was Zenteri, the High Administrator, who rarely spoke at council meetings. In 10,000 years, Zenteri's voice echoed with age and wisdom. No species has ever breached council security. None has ever forced a reclassification vote. None has demonstrated such capability paired with such restraint. The chamber grew silent as everyone listened to the ancient being. "The humans remind us of something we have forgotten," Zenteri continued. "Progress comes from challenge, not comfort. They defeated our security because they faced threats we never imagined. They showed mercy because they understand the value of peace better than we who have known it for millennia. Even the species who had voted against Earth were listening now. I therefore propose that Earth establish a permanent embassy on this station, with their own secure systems designed to their specifications." Foster couldn't believe what he was hearing. This was more than they had hoped for. 1 month later, Earth's new embassy opened on the Galactic Council station. The small team that had changed humanity's future gathered with President Campbell and Dr. Foster for a private ceremony. "The knowledge we gained is being released carefully to Earth's scientific community," Peter explained to the president. "We're focusing first on clean energy, medical advances, and sustainable food production." "What about the military technology?" the president asked. Major Baker nodded. "We've established a secure research facility, but we're following your orders. Defense only, nothing that could be seen as aggressive expansion." Olivia had designed the embassy's security systems herself. "No one will hack us the way we hacked them," she said with pride. "I've used everything we learned, plus a few surprises of my own." Lisa had become Earth's official translator. "The language barriers are falling quickly," she reported. Several council species have already requested cultural exchanges. Kevin had stayed on as the embassy's communications director. "We're getting requests from across the galaxy for information about Earth. Everyone wants to know about the humans who outsmarted the council." After the ceremony, President Campbell addressed the small team privately. "Your names will not appear in public records," she told them. "The full story of what you did may not be told for decades, but know this, you changed the course of human history forever." Dr. Foster, now Earth's official ambassador, looked out at the stars from the embassy window. "The council members who opposed us are still worried," he said. "They still believe the ancient prediction might mean we'll destroy the galactic community someday." "What do you think?" Harrison asked. Foster smiled. "I think we'll save it instead. Already, Some younger species are questioning the old power structures. The Council has begun reforms that were needed for centuries. On Earth, children looked up at the night sky with new wonder, knowing that humans were no longer alone or unwelcome in the galaxy. Schools taught about the peaceful contact with alien civilizations, though few knew the truth about how Earth had earned its place among the stars. In the secure facility in Colorado, a small plaque was installed on the wall of the room where it all happened. It bore no names, just a simple phrase, "From Class D to Class A plus in 24 hours." And across the galaxy, a new phrase entered the diplomatic language of many species: "Never underestimate the humans."